prepaid collect call from an inmate at the county jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
I don't consent to recording of this call. Anything I need to know?
Yeah, Mike, I'm driving down the road, but Miss Debbie called me and said that she was going to go, but the jailhouse told her that they are only going to allow family to show up at the parole hearing, and that they would not have let her in. And then Fanny said he was going to send some people, so I don't know what happened. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, great. Please, everybody that wanted to attend, please send me a letter and send a letter to the parole board, if you will, that you wanted to attend and you were denied that right. You were prevented by the jail. The jail said they were only going to allow family only, and that's why you did not attend. The parole hearings, listen, the parole hearings are open to the public. Anybody can show up, anybody at all. It doesn't matter if you support me or oppose me. It's open to anybody. So, for that reason, the parole hearing should be redone. Here's what happened in short. She spent like an hour going over my whole plan and my history and all this stuff. Spent all this time on there. And then when it came down to getting information from my mom tried to explain to her, about me and everything that she felt was pertinent, which she's allowed to do. But the lady didn't want to hear that. She said, well, all I want to know is, how are you going to support him? And she said, well, I'll help him financially until he's, able to, pay his own bills and so forth. But that's all she wanted to hear. And then she was at the point she was literally saying, okay, my recommendation is that you be given parole. You're at the lowest level. You've been recognized as the lowest security risk that there is, period. And you've already served 25 months on this 3-year sentence, and you'd only be required, if you didn't get out, to stay until August, and it's going to come back to you. So we're looking at maybe 5 to 6 months total maximum. And she was saying that she was going to recommend that I be released.
Mike? Hey, Mike, Mike, I lost the last 10 seconds you went out. You said she was going to recommend I be released, and then you went blank.
She was going to recommend I be released, and she said, but you would be released to a federal detainer, so that means upon your release, the feds would come pick you up and take you on to federal prison. Which she just said, that's not an issue, that's not a problem. People, you could go to the federal prison and be released from there too. We're just looking at the state. And I said, that's right, you're just looking at the state's issue. And I said, here's the thing, at the sentencing hearing, at the federal kangaroo court sentencing hearing, the judge said that he wanted my time in the Fed to run separate from the state time. So therefore, if the state gives me parole, my time that I would be serving would be while on parole. So while you're on parole, most people don't know it, you're serving time. You're under the conditions, restrictions by the state. So whether you're locked up in a jail, prison, or on parole, or house arrest, or whatever, you're under their control, so to speak. So I said, you can grant this parole, and according to the judge's own order, that would trigger me to be released, because even though there's a federal hold, the feds can't come get me until I finish all my time in the state of Tennessee. Well, once she realized that they were going to have to give me my freedom, they were going to have to let me go, all of a sudden her countenance changed instantly. She said, oh, well, in that case, I'm going to recommend that the parole board not grant you parole, because you've got a prior parole violation. So because of your prior history of parole violation, you're not a good candidate. I said, where did that come from? We spent all this time, and you've already told me I was a perfect candidate, already approved, and only at the moment that you discover that I'm effectively able to get out.
Wow, that's
changed your mind.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. Hey, Mike, is this conversation for friends only or public? Let me know.
Go public.
Okay.
Because, in spite of those communists out there that hate this country, that are ignorant of the law. Oh, here's another thing. for your communist buddies out there that think they know the law, the morons, listen, guys, look up Title 18, 922, little g, little 1, and it says right at the beginning it applies to persons. Well, it's not what your pea-brain thinks person is. Go back to Title 18, 921, where it says definitions, and read what a person is. It defines it as an individual, a corporation, a trust, a partnership, a firm, on and on and on. Corporations, trusts, partnerships, all those are non-living entities. Oh, and before you get excited and say, well, the first word was individual, well, guess what? Individual is not a living human being, live man or woman either. A living individual, there's no such thing. In their world, you have to go by their definitions. That's what it's all about, their definitions that they create. And in their world, an individual is a non-living entity of one. It's a single, non-living entity. Okay, I'm a live man, so therefore the statutes do not apply to live men and women or human beings. So look it up, do the research, and I ask everybody, please do the research and send me what you find relating to this issue, because therein lies the problem. These statutes do not apply to live men and women. And throughout the entire event, every time I'm brought into one of those courts, I say at least 2 to 3 things. Number one, I'm a tribal member of the Chilcote Nation appointed as their ambassador. I am a live man, and I'm there by special appearance. In other words, I don't grant you jurisdiction, don't consent to you at all. And those are the hurdles that they've never been able to overcome. No one in the federal system or state system has ever took the stand and testified that I was not a live man. As a matter of fact, they stipulated, well, we know you're a live man. And they even stipulated that I'm the ambassador of the Chilcote Nation in the federal system. And these are the issues that they're hoping that the general public, and obviously the jury that's ignorant.
What do you think happens from here, Mike? I mean, is there any way people can help, and what do you think happens going forward?
Again, listen to me. I already told you how you can help. Send letters to me and to the parole board. If you try to go to the parole hearing saying you were told by the jail you could not go, you were denied access to the parole hearing because simply the fact that you were not a family member.
Got it.
So
okay.
Therefore, the parole hearing was not legitimate. And if you write to the parole board, okay, you can write letters to the parole board also right now. They've not made their decision. So you can write letters to the parole board and say, this man is a political prisoner only because he dared to expose the corruption in government, and he seeks to help the tribal members of the Chilcote Nation develop their natural resources so that they can have the money to get their kids back from a pedophile-infested child trafficking racket called the Child Welfare Foster Program System in Canada. And that's why these people don't like him. Because anybody with a brain cell in their head would realize, wait a minute, they arrested him on the 12th of January. He hadn't been anywhere near this plane. And are we supposed to believe that they would track him down with an FBI raid team and take the building apart, toss it, as they said, and not search this airplane? They're looking for an AR-15. In the report, it says that they have been told by Tipton County, who gave them the cell phone data without a warrant, mind you, which is against the federal statute. Now, Supreme Court ruling. What is that? The Carpenter v. United States back in June. So they know that they're on the lookout for a guy who's supposedly armed with an AR-15, and Tipton County says he has violent tendencies. Otherwise, there's no reason for the FBI to go out looking for somebody for failure to appear in court for a low level. Remember, unlawful possession of a weapon in Tennessee in 2014, when I was charged in February, was a Class E felony, meaning the most I can get is 1 to 2 years. I've already served over 1 to 2 years waiting to be tried on this stupid charge. They've never taken me because, number one, I didn't have a gun. Number two, they were my wife's guns, legally hers, locked up in her house. I'm in another state. I'm not even there. They called me to come back to the farm where they knew that Mrs. Parsons had gotten them out of her safe, taken them in the house, and locked them up for her safety while I'm gone on a 6-day trip. It's called a frame job, mind you. This is Tipton County that we're dealing with, who have a history of framing people. And in the federal system, no different than Tipton County and every backwards mafia around this country. All they do is they say, well, if we accuse you, you're guilty. In this reason for hers to deny me parole, she said, well, you've been charged with unlawful possession of a weapon. I said, ma'am, that charge has been dismissed 5 times. I said, and an accusation is not a conviction. So until I'm convicted, I'm presumed innocent.
Did you get my? There's no doubt these judges are corrupt. There's no doubt. Did you get my letter that I sent? That I sent without an electronic key? Did you get the letter with all the paperwork?
Yes.
Oh, good.
And,
Good.
I got it, and I don't know. I can't make heads or tails out of this one from Brad. I don't know if he's saying F to somebody else or to.
I haven't heard a word from him, so I just don't know either. It's very difficult. It was kind of short. It was too short to make any sense of.
Yeah, and I don't know what the issue is. So please, Bradley, if you're listening, communicate with me. Let me know what's going on. Are you still on board, or what the deal is? Also, what is the status of my legal material? My mom did confirm that you got the cashier's check money order for $140, so that should be what you need to cover the cost of shipping it. Whatever the deal is, I desperately need that material so that I can fight these cases. You've got legal material there in your possession that is my property that ultimately would effectively present it to the right people, force them to release me, plus my legal books and everything. So please don't abandon ship on us here. I know that difficulty as it is, I'm a unique individual. Okay, I think Native American. I am Native American. And that was another thing. The parole officer had me marked as white on her list. I said, "Well, ma'am, you got this wrong." She said, "What's that?" I said, "Well, certain things you don't have marked, but you've got down here race as white. That's a color. That's not a culture. I'm Native American." And my mom tried to interject and say, "Yeah, his dad's mom and dad are full-blooded Native American Cherokee, and my ancestors are too." I'm roughly 65-75%, but regardless of the Irish genetics that make me appear to be somewhat like an Irish-looking guy in the face, in my soul, I'm Native American. I think I am not European. I don't think European, so therefore I think my ways are different. Everything about me is different than European, and so therein lies the rub, is that they think I'm going to acquiesce to their slave culture mentality, and I don't. I reject that wholeheartedly, and that's what messes things up, is they perceive that I'm just like them, willing to be a slave and suck up to a corporation posing as government, and I don't.
Hey, Mike, it sounds like your mother did attend your parole hearing. Was there anybody outside of your family that was there at all?
No.
Okay.
No,
Wow.
Just my mother.
Wow. Because I know that there was interest, and I had received feedback that there should have been more people, but it sounds like they turned back anybody that wasn't family, which sounds like it's illegal.
Right.
Also, on your message to Bradley, if he's listening, I know you had indicated that number 8 on the list is incredibly important, so I don't want to miss that.
It is. It is, and Rudy, if you've got the list, please, if you can, without going into that, because others were trying to.
I understand.
If you can help me, or he can help me, that's crucial. Very, very crucial. I need to see if that can be done. And what I was going to say, Brad, is that it's difficult to communicate with elderly tribal members who are not running at 90 miles an hour. Brad, you run at 90 miles an hour. You're very intelligent, very capable young man, and you move at 90 miles an hour. They don't. Things are processed very slowly. They are very. Don't take them wrong. They're very smart too. They're just more methodically thinking people. They're slow to react because they think things through very thoroughly. Let me emphasize that. These are very thorough people. Therefore, when they met me and talked to me and heard about me and discovered the way I process, and they found out, okay, we've got a man of integrity that gets it. He gets what sovereignty is all about. So that is his core. So we don't have to worry about that. He would never sell us out. He's brutally honest. He's not a liar. He's not a cheat. He's not a thief. He's not on drugs. He's not doing anything. He's been with the same woman, married 33 years. So the commitment issue is not a question for me. So I've got all the respect in the world. Plus, as a former manager of Federal Express and former adjunct faculty member, doing all the things I've done, I know business. I know how to run a business. And when I, was tasked with helping them develop their raw materials, and I ran into this guy in Tennessee that was a logging company owner, I thought, this might work out. So I told them about what was going on, and they did their research. They verified that the hereditary chief Chilcotin Nation does exist, even though it's virtually unknown to most people unless they travel to that part of the world. But it does exist. He even had a buyer. This guy in Jackson had a buyer that he knew that they wanted to buy $1 billion worth of timber. It's like, okay, there you go. Let's put this deal together. And I had produced all the software and everything. I had a tablet PC in my luggage on the plane with all the software for the accounting, for the inventory, for personnel, for everything logistically to run that business, so that once it was set up, anybody could take that tablet and do the data entry and run their business. So it was basically, plug and play for these folks that have never done anything like this. And they would have everything to be able to track everything that's going on from inventory, scheduling, the whole bit, the whole 9 yards. Well, guess what the FBI claimed? They searched that plane and did not find that tablet PC and the contracts for the logging operation.
Wow. Yeah, they didn't want to introduce that into evidence because it would have been exculpatory.
Right, and I said, what about the knives? I said, you found the blankets, which were the gifts for the clan mothers. What about the knives? I had 6 knives for the hereditary grand chiefs. I had 6 knives. These were token gifts. You give the men a weapon, okay?
Yeah.
It's basically it's a locking blade that's got a piercing end on it. So if you're locked up in your car and you run off into a creek, you can break the window out. You can cut this strap. It's a tool, okay?
Yeah.
But it's viewed as a weapon, which would be a custom. I mean, if you saw Dances with Wolves, you saw the guy give up his knife to the lieutenant when he got the lieutenant's hat, and that was a damn good trade for the lieutenant. The lieutenant didn't see it that way, but for the rest of everybody else, it's like, yeah, that's one hell of a trade. You got the guy's knife. But it's a cultural thing that Brad may not be up to speed with, or would, because especially if he's dealing with certain clan mothers that they're frustrated with this whole deal.
Yeah.
And they want things to be fixed and to be right. And this is, just typical. And I show them all the respect in the world because they've earned it. They deserve it. They've been put through hell like everybody else.
Well, Mike, I do have a quick question. I know our time may be running out here real soon. If people do want to write the Tipton County Parole Board, is that what they look up on the internet to find the mailing address?
No, it's not Tipton County. It's the Tennessee Board of Paroles. It's in Nashville, Tennessee. They have to get on the internet and look up the address and or email, and if they can contact the parole board and say, hey, Mike Parsons had a parole hearing with the Tipton County Jail on February 27, 2019, scheduled at 2 p.m. It was actually held at about 3:30, and we need to find out where can we send letters. The parole board officer said that they had still some time to send in letters because the parole board hadn't made the decision yet, and we want to send a letter to them immediately.
Okay, all right. Tennessee Parole Board, and maybe I'll call the Tipton County Jail and ask for the number in case I can't find.
Don't call the Tipton County Jail. They'll give you no information at all.
Okay, all right. Okay.
No, the Tipton County Jail is a waste of time. No, you have to look on the internet for the Tennessee Board of Paroles.
All right. Tennessee Board of Paroles. I got it.
Yeah, and if anybody can look up the definition of a person as it relates to 922 little g little 1, and then what the definition of an individual is, and send me a copy of it, and do some searches on the database in these cases and find out where other people have gone to court and their cases thrown out because they're not a person. They're not an individual. They're a live man and woman, and the corporate United States can only deal with other corporate fiction. That's why they put your name in all capital letters, because they can only come after the corporate fiction. They're only coming after bonds and the money that is attached to those SESCUV trust bonds from your birth certificate and Social Security trust fund. That's all they want is the money, but they have to hold you responsible. And, of course, in a political corrupt system that we've got, this communist takeover from within by the deep state bureaucrats like your trader buddy there, the guy is morally immune or inept to have intelligent conversation. The guy, he's a godless wonder in his own brain. But
Yeah.
the fact is he will never come out from behind the curtain because he's a fraud, and he would be prosecuted because of the crimes he's committed.
Yes.
He would never admit to because, the dude is, I think he's a deep state operative working for the FBI as a troll. He's on the payroll. He doesn't have the time. If he was doing the job, spending all this time sitting there at a computer reviewing everybody's cases and legal stuff. No.
Oh yeah, and Mike, I got to tell you, it's not just your case. He knows every single thing about. He knows every single thing about lots of other prisoners that I advocate for.
Well,
yeah, there's a deep.
He doesn't articulate that he knows every detail because he gets the details wrong.
No, everything is biased and spin. It's a total fabrication.
Twisted, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
It's totally twisted, and that's the thing about Satan. The devil twists everything. He will pervert because Satan hates God. Okay, if God made it, he hates it. So that's why pharmaceutical drug companies are called sorcery. They're talked about in Revelation because it's an adulteration of God's creation. God created natural medicine. That's what I promote, what I use, and what I teach, and it works every time without side effects. So if man comes along, Satan comes along and perverts it into some kind of a business where they'll take and try to mask everything and create something that gives the illusion of God's remedy called pharmaceutical drugs, when in fact that's Satan's sorcery. Just like this court, we used to have common law where the law was very simple. Do you have a victim? No. Well, then you don't have a crime. Okay, the Ten Commandments are the law of the land. Christ made it real simple. I like things simple. Christ made it simple for me. Love God and love your neighbor. That means if you love your neighbor, you're not stealing his passbook, you're not cheating on his wife, you're not going to court lying about him. It's very simple.
Right.
It's not complex. It's not rocket science. You don't have to be a jet mechanic working $1 million planes like Mr. Trader to have a clue here.
Hey, Mike, last time we talked, you were doing 23 hours in your cell and you only got 1 hour out. When do you expect the next hour out to be out tomorrow?
23 hours and 2 minutes.
Okay, so, all right. So it'll be late in the evening tomorrow then.
Yeah, it'll probably be around 5 o'clock tomorrow.
All right, I'll try to make sure I'm available, and our prayers are with you, man. It's just what a freaking nightmare our criminal justice system has turned into.
Look, believe it or not, I'm praying for this goofball Trader and all his communist friends because I know they're probably on the payroll and they're doing this, but guess what? Get a life, get a better job. There's enough to go around. I think we can all do things that benefit each other without warehousing people. The First Amendment says you have a right to freedom of speech and freedom of conscience is part of that. That means you got the right to be wrong. You know what? I'll let you have that right to be wrong. Just don't put me in a cage. Your rights should not trump my rights.
Well, Mike, I know you're very gracious in offering to pray for him. I'm going to share something with you. They've banned me from communicating with 3 federal prisons. Frater has even bragged that he's the one who called the prison, and I have a dear friend that I've been communicating with for several years, and I advocated for his innocence as well. His name is David Hinkson. He's in USP McCreary, and Frater is bragging about the fact that he called the prison and reported this prisoner as running a business when that absolutely is a lie, but it appears that the warden at that prison bought into Frater's lie. So now I'll never be able to speak to this man again, and I was one of the few people out here advocating for him publicly. So when I pray for him, I pray Psalms 109. If you get a chance, you can check that out. But I have so much disdain for people that attack men in cages. They're so cowardly, Mike, because they would never attack you if you were outside and had your freedom. But because you're locked in a cage, they do this kind of thing.
No, he would like he said in one of his vile letters to me that if he ever saw me, he would assume that I'm coming after him. He would shoot me dead on sight.
Yeah.
So the thing is that he's threatened me and my wife and my family. He's actually called my family members or emailed, communicated with them. Left veiled threats as to he's going to murder me if he ever sees me. So, and I don't even know who this guy. I don't even know if it's a guy. It could be a woman for all I know.
He's probably a transvestite. He's probably a transgender guy that has emotional issues.
He seems to be interested in supporting homosexuality and transvestites and pedophiles. So obviously he's got some issues there. You know, his own closet may be a little bit full.
Yeah.
But you know, the reality is that this is America. It's the land of the free. It's not communist Russia. And if he likes communist Russia so much, go back home.
Yeah.
Leave us alone.
Amen to that.
We'll actually cover your ears. But God bless you, Rudy, and everybody else. But I need people to write letters to me and the parole board that wanted to go there and say, yeah, we wanted to go, but we were told we could not, and the Tipton County Jail refused to let us go. And this is an innocent man. He and his wife have been railroaded. He needs to be released. Come on. 3-year sentence for failure to appear in court, which used to be contempt of court. You get 10 days in jail and a $50 fine. They've only turned it into a hammer for a judge to abuse their power perpetually because they don't like what these people speak out about. And had I had a directive, and that's the problem, there was no directive. The law is very clear, and you know, people that like to twist the law, they will never read you the actual statute. They want you to believe that you don't show up for court. Well, that's a crime. No. You have to be given a directive. The law is very clear. Not a recognition of some kind of suggestion. Not because there was a trial you had to have known. No. They have to direct you. Like on your speeding ticket, it says, you shall appear on court, pay your fine, or appear on court on this day, or you shall get another charge. On the, when you get subpoenaed to court, it says at the bottom, failure to appear is considered a crime of contempt, and you could be charged with 10 days in jail and a $50 fine maximum. It tells you the penalty, and it says you shall appear. It's a directive. Without that directive, there's no crime.
Yeah.
I think that I was never directed. Not even the corporate entity, Michael Parsons, was directed.
Yeah.
And I responded back. Every time they sent me a letter, I sent them back. I said, why are you sending me this corporate entity's mail? That's not me. I said, I'm not going to be there. I told the judge in the letter, I won't be there. This was the second time. In December, they had a hearing for pretrial hearings, and I sent them a letter. No, so I'm not going to be there. And then, okay. I got to go for now. God bless everyone. Thank you for your prayers. And just like the courts, this parole system was kangaroo all the way.
All right. God bless you, Mike. You are in our prayers.
And reach out to the local news media in Memphis. Tell them to come visit me while I'm here. While I'm alive. They need to come visit me if they want to know the truth. Those people that write nastiness about me, it's called freedom of speech. And we're supposed to have the ability to have the ability to say what is the truth. If they say anything negative about us, it's called slander, and we have the right to rebut it. And so they need to give me that right by coming in and interviewing me, and I'll be glad to tell them what's going on in Tipton County, Tennessee, which is total corruption and chaos. God bless.
God bless you, Mike. You're in our prayers, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.